everybody. This is Mr. Gibbons. I'm one of the teachers here and a team leader for 6th grade. Somebody you're going to be very familiar with. I will introduce myself in a little bit, as we will do introductions soon. However, we wanted to take a look at the schedule that's in front of you. And if you take a look, 6 to 6:10, we're going to introduce ourselves, the staff, and you get to see a welcome Cougar video. So you're a Brooklyn Cougar now. And it's going to be a video that you're going to find very funny, hopefully. And after that, from 6:10 to 6:25, we're going to talk about the day in the life of a middle schooler at Brooklyn, and we're going to teach you how to read your schedule. We're going to talk about this thing called Pride and what that means, and actually school clubs and what's offered at our school. Because you're going to notice that middle school is a lot different than elementary school, but there's also similarities. From 6:25 to 6:45, we have what we call a breakout session. This is where you get to play fun interactive games with the teachers that are here in the chats. So be prepared for that, and be prepared to talk and have your microphone on and your video on as well. Next slide, please. From 6:45 to 6:50, we're going to do some recap. So you're going to get a lot of information, and you're going to need to go back and recap on that and talk about it again to make sure you remember it. And then at the end, from 6:50 to 7 p.m., you have questions, and we'll help give you answers. So that's where you get to write in the chat or ask a question out loud, and we're going to help answer those questions because you are new to middle school, and we want to make sure you're comfortable, and we want to answer your questions as soon as possible. So let's start off with our Zoom do's and don'ts. We do have etiquette here at Brooklyn. So we do want to talk about keeping your microphone muted. We will allow you to use your microphone, but until we say it's okay, keep it muted. Do share your screen if it's possible. So if you can do that right now, turn your screen on. You can see our faces, and we're going to see your face eventually. So we would love to see our students. And be prepared to speak with teachers and students in the middle when we do those fun breakout games. Because you're going to need to participate, and we want to hear from you. Some of the don'ts. We don't want you to write in the chat unless we say so, and there's going to be plenty of time to write in the chat today. Don't use the Zoom buttons at the bottom unless we ask you to, and make sure you use you don't want to use inappropriate language when we engage with our peers in our presentation in the chat. Make sure you are keeping things appropriate. That would be very important. So again, welcome, and we have a video for you. All right, and just like it said there at the end, we're excited. We can't wait to meet you. Yes, the school year is starting different than it's ever started for most of us teachers, but we're going to get through it, and we can't wait to actually get into school. With that being said, we're going to introduce some people, and we wanted to start with our principal, Miss Hayden Williams.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Miss Hayden Williams and I am your very proud principal of Colonel Ebrook Lee Middle School. I am so excited you are here joining us tonight to find out a little more about Lee and meet some fabulous teachers and your team leaders. And I can't wait to talk to all of you during breakouts and as we get to know each other through the year. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right, and then some other people that are important are, one is myself. I'm Mr. Gibbons again. I actually teach PE and health, and I'm a team leader. The other team leader is Miss Greco, who she's about to introduce herself. And what we are your first point of contact for things that you need help with. So for example, on a normal school day, you would need help with a locker. Mr. Gibbons or Miss Greco, I can't open this locker, can you help me? I'm new to the building, where is the cafeteria? I'm not sure how to read my schedule, can you help me to read the schedule? So it might look a little different for online learning. Things like, Mr. Gibbons, I'm not sure how to use my email. Can you help me with that? So we are your first point of contact when you need information and you don't know where to go. And Ms. Greco, she can introduce herself as well. So Ms. Greco.
Hi everybody, I'm Ms. Greco. I teach 6th grade math at Lee, and I'm super excited to get the school year started. Like Mr. Gibbons said, we are the teachers that you want to go to when you have a lot of questions. Any question you have, no matter how big or small, we're here to help you and definitely help transition from elementary school to middle school. Yeah, so I'm really excited, and you can find me in room 108 when we start school back up, maybe, hopefully. Next we have is Miss Karishi here.
Hi guys, I'm Ms. Qureshi. I'm your school counselor. I'm the 6th grade counselor, and I really look forward to getting to know all of you. Welcome to Lee Middle School. If you have any questions or concerns, please do reach out.
Okay, are we good, Mr. Gibbons? You think is Ms. Fisher's time?
Yeah, I don't believe we have any of the other administrators or counselors. Just know, students, we do have a lot of teachers in the room today, and you can probably notice them in the images there. You will get to meet them. It's just not going to be right now. It's going to be in our breakout groups. We're going to get to say hi to them and learn a little bit about them, okay? So some important information for you. You may know or you may not know that we are actually building a new Lee Middle School for us in the future. It won't open until the fall of 2022, which means you will be the big bad 8th graders who get to have this brand new building, and you're going to get to have that experience before you leave our middle school and head off to your high school. So right now, they're breaking ground, and you'll probably notice through the summer, even through the school year, as you pass through the community, that you'll see a building going up, and we'll probably lose some of our PE space. But when we get back to school, we will worry about those things later. But no, a new school building is coming.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
I think I see my parking spot. So one thing we wanted to introduce to you, because our school is probably a lot different than your elementary schools, is we have this code of what we call code of conduct called PRIDE. And PRIDE stands for Positive, Responsible Individuals Determined to Excel. And this code of conduct stands for how you should act in school, how you should act in the classroom, how you should act when you are speaking to an adult, or maybe even how you should act when you're speaking to someone in class that you may or may not know that well. PRIDE is how we operate, and it's really important when we're in school, but however, we're starting online. So PRIDE's going to really stand for how do I stay responsible with online learning? And we actually have some of those keys that come up to be what we call digital learners. You're going to hear us talk about that. But PRIDE is our code of conduct on how we should operate as a student, academically, and how I should engage in others.
And that is the same. So at our school, again, like Mr. Gibbons was saying, we practice PRIDE. It's to create a safer, more effective school environment. Like he was saying, we are going digital. So we are going to see a difference as far as the things we're doing online and making sure that we keep that Cougar Pride in school and out of school.
If you want to know, there are some big differences from elementary to middle school, and we kind of put them here. And let's start with the first one. It's probably a larger building. I know our building currently has 2 floors. So for example, 6th graders are most likely their classes are always on the 1st floor. You might have a class or 2 upstairs, but typically our upstairs, our 2nd floor is for 7th and 8th graders. Typically in elementary school, if you look at that second bullet point, you only have 1 teacher, and then you go off to your special teacher for PE, art, and music. But in middle school, you're going to have 7 teachers a day. That's when we're in school. Online learning, that's going to look a little different. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you are now moving to 7 different teachers for 7 different subjects. Lockers are a big thing. You may have them in elementary, but our lockers sometimes give our new 6th graders trouble just because it's a new experience and you haven't seen it before. Again, we're not in school yet, so we're not worried about those things, but these are things that eventually you're going to see when you come back to school. Extracurricular activities. We do offer clubs. And clubs are in many different forms. They can be in sports. They could be in different arts. We have so many clubs that we offer to our students, and you're going to get to hear about that in our presentation a little bit later as well. You have more responsibility. You do have 7 classes. That means you might have multiple subjects that have homework one night, or you might have multiple assignments due the upcoming week. So you do have more responsibility, and the big thing is, if you're confused in middle school, which is it's normal, so if you do get confused with online learning, you have that responsibility to speak up to Ms. Greco and I. We don't hold judgment. We're not here to shame anyone. We're here to help. So there is no question or anything that you're experiencing that can't be brought up to us. We're going to help you with that. You do have higher expectations because you have so many classes, and grades are really, really important here. We're going to have that expectation that you advocate for yourself if you need help, or speak to that teacher that you feel like you may need more help with something in the class.
Okay.
So we were just talking about how you have 7 classes, and here are what the courses might look like. We have 5 what we call 5 core content classes. If you look at the first one, English, Math, World Studies.
Sorry.
It's okay. If you look at those classes, English, Math, World Studies, Science, and then we have this thing called PE and Health. Those are the 5 classes you will have all year long. We're going to talk about PE and Health a little bit because that's a new subject to most of our elementary school students, and it looks a little different and can be confusing, and we're going to help you with that. Then if you take a look at the yellow, we have what we call our arts rotation of foreign language, music. We have computer courses, actual art courses. You usually typically get 2 of those in a rotation for the year. Now, what we are showing you is, at first sight, it's very confusing. And we're going to help talk you through this. What you're looking at is a schedule that you typically see for when you go into school. And now Mr. Gibbons just said you typically only have 7 classes, but now I'm looking at 10, 11 different classes right here. Okay, so what I'm going to help you do is hyper focus on the top of the schedule where it's in yellow, it's in gray, and it says term, period, course name, teacher, and classroom. We're going to teach you how to read this schedule, and we're going to move forward with term because there are some things that you need to understand. We have a little key here to help you. And again, any students with their microphones on, if you could just mute that microphone, that would help me a lot. Thank you. Thank you. So for example, let's start with term. If you see YR, that means year round. You have that course all year. If you look at the second bullet point, anything that says Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4, that means you have that class during a quarter. So anything Q1 means you have that class quarter 1. Quarter 1 is the start of the school year. If you look at the next bullet point, S1 means semester 1. That means you have that class semester 1, and that's quarters 1 and 2. So that would be the first half of the year. And the last bullet point, S2, means semester 2. That means you have that class quarters 3 and 4, the second half of the year. So we're going to take that and put it into action. If you can hit the space bar, please, and thank you. And put it into action with PE and health, because PE and health is a little different for you from elementary school, and it can be confusing when you see your schedule. Now, if you take a look at the schedule, you're going to see term, period, course name, teacher, and classroom. Our first bullet point asks you, what period do I have PE and health this year? So this is where you get to use the chat. Take a look at those top boxes where it says term, period. Maybe we want to focus on period, and see what period you have PE and health this year. We're going to give you 30 seconds to respond in the chat. Give you about 15 more seconds. All students are welcome to write in the chat, what period do I have PE this year? And I believe, Ms. Greco, I may have forgot to make that a subtle change with this one, but we can still get through it. There was a change for this one that I forgot to make.
Okay.
No, not a big deal.
Just let me know. I'm ready.
All right, so if we are seeing period 2 as a lot of the responses, Ms. Greco, that's the answer we want to see. Now, in this example, we want you to just an example. You are not going to have necessarily PE period 2, but we want you to understand the schedule. You may have PE period 1, 4, 5, 6, whatever period. Just know you want to look under the period of when you have that PE class. So now we're going into our second bullet point. Who is my PE teacher third quarter? So in the chat, you get 30 seconds to tell me the name of your PE teacher for quarter 3. So you want to look at term, go down and see Q3, and tell me the name of your PE teacher. You have 30 seconds now. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And thank you for all those responding in the chat. Now, I did notice I saw some responses, and there seems to be some people who think Mr. Grosset, and then some people who think Mr. Gibbons. And we're going to try to help you figure out, because it's not both of us, it is one of us. And the answer actually is Mr. Grosset. So if you take a look at the gray box on the top left, term, the question one is, who is your PE teacher quarter 3? So quarter 3 means I have to look for Q, which stands for quarter, and 3. And then I go to Q3, go all the way across to teacher, and it says, Mr. Grosset. Now, my question after that says, do I have the same PE teacher all year? You have 30 seconds to answer that question in the chat. It's a yes or no answer. Do I have the same PE teacher all year? Yes or no?
Hear that?
I love how you actually sound the music.
Spotify.
20 seconds. We're going to give you about 5 more seconds. All right, and I saw a good bit of the answers saying no. And that is correct. You don't, in this scenario, you don't have the same PE teacher all year. I wanted to point that out because some students might have the same PE teacher all year. Sometimes you don't. So quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 are important to look at because things change. So don't just assume if I see Q1 and I see Mr. Gibbons, oh, I have him all year for PE. That's not necessarily the case. So it's important to really understand the different meanings of YR, Q1, Q2, semester, S1. Now
Yeah.
our last, oh, sorry, Ms. Griffin.
I wanted just to jump in. I remember my freshman year of high school, I did not pay attention to that and was sitting in a junior class, and they're like, somebody's here that doesn't belong. And I was a freshman with the older classmen, and then the principal walked me all the way to my classroom, which was in another building. So that was my first day of school at high school. So if I had just read, maybe I wouldn't have made that mistake.
All right, and our last question. What subject do I have Q4, and what room do I go to? You've got 20 seconds to write in your answer into the chat. What subject do I have Q4, and what room do I go to? So there should be two things in your answer. Coming up on about 10 seconds left, folks. All right, 3, 2, 1. And I saw a lot of answers that said health, and I'm in room 107. Now, the reason we put this into our slides, it's very important to understand that in middle school, we do have something called health. It is close to, it's related to PE, but you are now leaving the gym and doing physical activities, and you're in a classroom learning about it, more health-related subjects. Typically, when you do change from a PE teacher like Mr. Gibbons to Mr. Grosset, we let you know in advance when that's happening. And typically, the health and PE classes let you know that you're about to change your course in a few days. So also keep in mind that if you're still a little confused, the teachers will let you know when this change is occurring for your new teacher or your new classroom. We wanted to point that out. It's something you're going to see in your schedules, and it's confusing. And hopefully we helped you understand how to read the schedule there. Now, the first thing you're looking at, and I know your thought is, what is this? I'm very, very confused. This is actually that schedule I showed you earlier with different colors. It's the same schedule. And Mr. Gibbons said earlier, when I see my schedule, it's going to have 10, 11 things on it, but he also said we only have 7 classes a quarter. So my question, when you look at this schedule here, why did Mr. Gibbons highlight in yellow the courses? Actually, I'm sorry, let me say this. The question is, why did Mr. Gibbons highlight in blue and cross out the courses in blue? You get 30 seconds to write this in the chat. And to clarify my question again, why did Mr. Gibbons highlight in blue and then cross out those courses in blue when we're starting Q1 in about 2-3 weeks? You get 30 seconds. Why are the courses highlighted in blue? Why are they crossed out when we start school for Q1 in about 2-3 weeks? Give yourself about 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Ms. Greco, how do those responses look?
Let me see. I have a lot of
So a lot of them say we don't do them or we don't need them. So can you just clarify?
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. So I like how people said we don't need them. And I think you're writing in the response of, I'm in Q1. Those courses are not happening until Q2, 3, or 4, or the second half of the year. So it's not that you don't need them. It's when you go to Q1, those classes aren't going to be happening. So for example, if I look at the first class where it says period and where it says 01, that is my first class for Q1, and that's math with Miss Greco.
Woo.
If I go down where it says period 2 and it says Q1, that's PE with Mr. Gibbons. Q2, 3, and 4, well, I'm not in those quarters yet, so I'm going to cross them out just for now, temporarily. I'm going to have those classes, but we're not there yet. So then I go down to 3, and oh, I see it says I have English with Miss Jack. If I go down to 4, I now have World Studies with Mr. Johnson. If I go down to 5, I have Science with Miss Hoffler. If I go to period 6, I have Spanish with Miss Johnson. And if I go down to 7, I have Art with Mr. McDonald. So these are just some simple methods you can use to not crossing out forever, but just crossing out
They lose you.
temporarily because you don't need that class for the quarter that you're
Okay.
supposed to be in it.
Sorry, Mr. Gibbons, did you want me to move on to the slide?
Ms. Hayden Williams, are you still in the room?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Did you want to speak about this graph on what virtual learning potentially is going to look like? I know the county hasn't put things in final, but I know that's a big question for a lot of our students. What do my classes look like online?
Right. So a big question we had orientation this morning and somebody said, oh my gosh, I have 7 classes. Does that mean I'm going to be online for 7 hours a day if there's 60 minutes? And the answer is no. So what's going to happen is you're going to be on classes 4 periods. So 4 of your periods, you will go to class every day. So in this model, you go to period 1 and you take a break. You go to period 3 and you take a break. You go to lunch and wellness where you can go get lunch and everything and take a longer break. And then period 5 break, period 7 break. So you will go to 4 1-hour classes a day. So it's a little confusing right now, and we're gonna send out some more messages and clarify it online once the county decides absolutely everything. So this is a model of what we're going to use.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And I guess Wednesday's a little confusing too.
Okay, so we have some after-school clubs. I'll go back.
You're fine. Wednesday just looks really different because Wednesday is just going to be kind of like a check-in day. So you'll see that you have your morning is a little individual work time, and then in the afternoon you will see all 7 or 8 teachers, but only for like 20 minutes to just check in and get some extra help. So that's the only big difference. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday will be similar 1-hour classes, and Wednesday will be just these short check-ins.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, so after school clubs here at Lee, we don't know when we will transition back into physically being in the building, but we do have Excel Beyond the Bell, which we have heard they're going to do something. We're not sure exactly how that's going to be done virtually, but there will be something with that. When we do transition, we have Excel Beyond the Bell is a great after-school resource for our students. It's free to you. They have a lot of fun activities. I know last year they had cooking class, they had step class, they had dance class, they had, I think, Legos. They have a lot of different activities that whatever you're interested in, that's something you can do. I know they had art teachers come in and they did art after school. They also support your academics. So they give homework support. You get a hot, nutritious meal, and there's free bus transportation home. Another thing that you can look forward to when you come to Lee is you can play sports now that you're in middle school. Elementary school, you couldn't play sports competitively against schools, but now when you come to Lee, you can. The only catch is you got to be in 7th or 8th grade. In order to play, you need to have at least a 2.0 GPA and maintain that while you play. As well as we have 3 seasons. We have cross country in the fall, basketball in the winter, soccer in the spring, and I believe baseball. It's at one of those. So like we were saying earlier, students that are displaying pride is not just within, the classroom, it's also on the field. So we display pride as well when we go to other schools and we represent our school. It's a really great way to meet new friends and, get ready for high school sports as well. At Lee, we do community circles. Community circles are something that I think some of you guys have done in elementary school. Well, at Lee, we do these at least once a week in our first period class before school starts. And we are in a circle with our teachers and our students, and it's supposed to give you an opportunity to share your opinions in a safe, non-judgmental space, and we build our community. It's a great way to get to know one another, and we do them at least once a week.
Welcome back, everybody. Make sure your microphones are muted. We're going to turn them on in just a second. We're going to get to some questions and answers. Feel free to keep your screens on if you feel comfortable. So we're going to recap some information. And the first thing we're going to recap is our emails. They're going to be here in this slide. This slide and our emails are available on a website we're about to show you. It's our Google site that we created for our school. So at any point you have questions, you can actually email us, and we're going to help you with those questions. We have our counselors' emails as well, and this, again, is all available to you, and we're going to show you where to find that. So we have Ms. Fisher, who you didn't see tonight. She's actually the 6th grade counselor for A through L. And then Ms. Harishi, who you met tonight, she's actually our counselor for M through Z. So if you ever have questions that you think pertains to them, maybe scheduling, conflicts of any type of thing related to emotional and other students, that's what they're there for. They'll help counsel you through that. It looks like our first day of school is August 31st. So very, very soon you get to see my face for PE every day.
Are we going to be able to go inside of the school, or are we going to do Zoom?
So Luke, I love questions, but right now we're going to hold the questions to the end. Give me 5 more minutes, okay? I'm going to answer that question for you, but just not yet. Good question, though. All right. I'll let you take this one over. Go ahead.
All right, so here's our Lee Google site. How you get there. School website. It's the first, it is the second one. So it says news. You're going to click 6th grade orientation information. Welcome, rising 6th graders. Click here to visit our website. And it's going to bring us right to the welcome page. At this welcome page, there's different tabs. You have a welcome screen where you have more intro videos from our administration, our principal, our assistant principals, and me and Mr. Gibbons at the bottom. You can meet your teachers. So this is something that you can do. You can check out your new teachers. Looks like somebody has a couple of cute little dogs. So definitely check that out. And more teachers are bringing in their videos, so be on the lookout. You can go and check out the Media Center. You could say hello to Miss Ellis and Miss Hook, where she does an intro video and explains a lot of the library resources and free resources to you. More after-school activities and support, information on that. And then it brings us to the FNQs, are frequently answered questions. So if you have a question and you want to get a fast answer, click here to ask a question. And it's going to bring you to this Google form. Type your question in, and me and Mr. Gibbons are going to be answering these questions and putting them on the website. So check back at least every other day to see if your question's been answered, because some of your questions, somebody else might have the same question. So we would want to put a lot of questions that might be asked a lot, so you can see it really quick. And you don't have to email us because your question might be there. Anything else? It says, also please be patient as we update this section. It's going to be at least every other day, so be checking back. Okay. And my computer's loading. All right. Also, in our welcome slide, we have some helpful tips to be the best digital learner during virtual school. And that should be up on the website. But it's stuff you can check out and get ready for the school year, because just like when you guys have been in school buildings and, we go over rules and expectations, and also, how you can be a good learner in school, in person. But these are tips that maybe are going to help you with this virtual learning. So definitely a good resource for you to check out. Some of them have links to explains why. So like one of them is turn off music. I love music, and I didn't want to say, you don't have to listen to music when you study, but there are different kinds of music you can listen to without words. And so I linked in some music that you could listen to while you're studying. Just helpful things you can look at. Getting enough rest, making your bed every day, Zoom etiquette, email etiquette. Another thing is you guys are going to be sending emails. This has some really good tools for you. So, instead of writing in slang, I guess, or like, how we speak when we text, when you email, it's maybe more appropriate to be a little bit more formal. And one of these, instead of saying, I need help, maybe saying exactly what you need help with, because being as specific as possible helps us, your teacher, help you get the questions that you're asking answered. So definitely check that out. And that's going to be on the website. For any parents in the room, we have a PTSA, and why you should join is it's to help you be a member of our school. You get connected with the teachers, you get connected with other parents, discover great resources. You can watch yourself grow as a leader yourself, speak up about issues that maybe you have with things that you want to see done at school, and witness improvement within the school building and being a role model. If that's something that you're interested in doing, contact Lee, PTSA membership @gmail.com. And now here we are at our questions and answers. We have questions if you have, we have answers if you have questions.
Feel free to write questions in the chat and we can answer them. Feel free to speak up, taking your mic off, but we got to be careful because maybe several people try to talk at once. So we gotta figure out how to organize that. Okay. Any students would like to speak or write in the chat, please do so now.
So we have a question about school supply list. There is a letter about to go out that will have the school supply list. It's very limited because we are online. So the school supply list is always a suggested list, not a you have to get list. It is true that they are going to change the name of the school. In fact, it will be changed this year while you're in 6th grade, but we will not use the new name until at least next year.
The next question I see is it, or how will we find out our classes? Ms. Hayden Williams, I believe you know this a little bit better, but the county will be emailing parents their schedules. Can you talk that through for the students?
Yes, we're actually trying to find out from the county. It's going to be in your Canvas, or I'm sorry, you don't call it Canvas. It's going to be in My MCPS classrooms and on your portals. Your parents you can get to it on your student portal. They will be ready soon. They are not posted just yet, but we will email information as soon as we have it from the county.
Next question we see is COVID-19 gonna be over on August 34th? Well, August 34th doesn't exist. I love the question and the humor, and I cannot wait to meet you. We're not sure when COVID-19 will be over. Moving on to the next question, how will instrumental music work? I believe the name is Balin, and I apologize if I say that wrong. Balin, to kind of give you some information on it, I would say wait till you actually meet your teacher when you get to that course. They're going to give you more information on that. Ms. Greco, if you've heard anything about how instrumental music might work, or anybody else, feel free to speak up.
But that's a great question that we're going to find an answer to that and see how that's going to lay in. I did see one that said, I think we passed over it, after school clubs. That's, again, something that's going to be coming out. We do know there will be something. We're just not sure what that's going to look like. So again, be checking your emails at least every other day or 3 times a week to check back for updates on that. And check our website because we're putting in that information as we find it, as it comes to us.
And once we start school, we will have morning announcements. And so a lot of that information will be shared with you on morning announcements. Teachers will let you know the information. We will make sure, but the after school activities information won't come out at least till we start school. So don't worry about that just yet.
Balin, I see your comment. I apologize for saying your name incorrectly. I'll get that right for the year. Okay. How will we return our Chromebooks? Right now, we're not worried about returning Chromebooks. These are kind of things that when they come up, we'll let you know. You're going to need them from home, and when that time arises, we'll let you know.
However, if you have a broken or you need a new Chromebook or you never got a Chromebook, we're going to send out information real soon about how you're going to pick up new Chromebooks if you need it and all of your school materials.
Luke, thank you for writing in your question. When are we going into school? No one knows. Ms. Hayden Williams doesn't know, none of the team leaders know. When that information comes out, we'll definitely clearly communicate it, but it's also going to be communicated by the county. That decision is not in our ability to answer right now.
Question about lockers. Once we get back into the building, believe me, we will practice and practice and practice again, and there will be people to help you. So no worries about getting into your lockers.
And when you get to PE, we have lockers there as well. So you actually get 2 practicing times a day and stuff like that. We got you covered. It's going to be fine.
Well, another thing with the lockers, they are like standard lockers, and I'm sure if you want to get ready, like practice even before we get back to the building, who knows when, there's plenty of YouTube videos, and I don't know if your parents have any of those lockers. Maybe they used to go to the gym. Those are the same kinds of lockers we use, the same system, because it follows a pattern.
I see that Helen has wrote, so we will not go to outdoor ed. Helen, I know this seems to be the theme. We don't know. So I've spoken to we have an outdoor ed coordinator for each school. I spoke to our coordinator about a month ago. What is our outdoor ed dates? What do you think is going to happen? And they have responded with, we are still waiting for the county to make a decision for us. I know that there is no outdoor ed the first quarter and possibly the second quarter. So usually with outdoor ed, it's if you get parent permission, you get to stay overnight in cabins and learn about science, nature, everything you learn in your science classes. Just because of the transmission of the current virus, it would not be a good idea to have students stay overnight with adult supervision because people could get sick. So as of right now, outdoor ed is, I'm not going to say it's not happening. They just don't know what the plan is, if there is a plan or if we can even have it this year. So do I have any information to update you on currently? No, I don't. But as soon as I hear it comes out to the community. Yeah, no problem. Ms. Greco, I think that's pretty much all our questions. So if we want to let students go.
Yeah. I mean, I see one more. Are we going to social distance in school? Well, again, that's something we don't know when we're going to come back into the building. And of course, we're going to follow all the requirements that MCPS tells us we need to do to be safe if we do have to go back.
All right.
All right.
Students, feel free to go ahead and log off. It was great meeting you, and meet you soon. Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys. It was so nice to meet you.
Bye. Bye.